I was with Marcus for 5 years, engaged for almost 2. We met at a music festival in Austin, and the connection was instant. He was charming, funny, the kind of guy who could talk his way out of anything. Marcus worked as an engineer for an energy company and traveled to Canada a lot, or so he said. His company had big contracts in Alberta, and he'd leave for a week at a time, coming back with stories about drilling sites and harsh winters. He'd always bring back little souvenirs, maple candies, hand-carved keychains, even once a small snow globe with the Calgary skyline. I thought it was cute, like he was including me in his work life even when he was away. Marcus didn't use social media much. He claimed he liked his privacy. Anytime I posted a picture of us, he'd ask me not to tag him. He told me it was because of non-disclosure agreements at work. I bought it. I trusted him. I was proud of how grounded our relationship felt. We lived together in his townhouse outside of Dallas, planned holidays together, and even adopted a dog named Poppy. But cracks started forming after we got engaged. His mom threw us a big party with all his extended family, coworkers, and friends. Everyone seemed thrilled, except I caught one of his cousins giving me a weird look when Marcus introduced me as his fiancée. Later that night, after too many beers, the cousin muttered something like, "Wow, didn't think you'd actually bring her around." When I asked what he meant, he brushed it off as a joke. Marcus got defensive when I brought it up, saying his cousin always ran his mouth. I should have pushed harder then, but I didn't. I wanted to believe everything was fine. Until a few months later, I stumbled across something that made my stomach drop. Marcus had a small leather bag he always took on trips. He was possessive about it, never let me pack it, or even touch it. One night, while he was showering, I peeked inside. All I found was a charger, but not for his iPhone. It was a Samsung cord. Marcus didn't own a Samsung. That small detail nagged at me. A week later, when Marcus left for another Canada trip, I decided to search the house. I wasn't even sure what I was looking for, but I couldn't shake the feeling something was off. In a drawer in his office, beneath piles of warranty papers, I found it, an old photo booth strip. Marcus was with a woman I'd never seen before. They looked happy, hugging, kissing, making silly faces. It was dated about 3 years ago, right in the middle of our relationship. I told myself it was maybe just a fling, something from the past. I tried to believe that. Then I found a receipt. A jewelry store in Montreal, for a wedding ring. Dated a year after we started dating. My blood went cold. He hadn't even proposed to me yet, when he bought that ring for someone else. I photographed everything with my phone and put it back exactly as I found it. I couldn't confront him yet, not without knowing how deep this went. The next morning after he returned from Canada, Marcus left his laptop open on the counter while he ran to the store. My hands shook as I opened it. He had another profile, under a slightly different name, Marcus Hernandez. I scrolled through messages, photos, plans. My heart stopped. This wasn't just another girlfriend. She was his wife. His actual wife. They'd gotten married 3 years ago in Montreal. Her name was Camila. She was beautiful, and in every photo she was glowing with happiness. I clicked through message after message, love notes, travel plans, talk about their future. Then I saw the ultrasound pictures. She was pregnant, 7 months along. But what gutted me most were the lies he told her about me. He'd told Camila that I was his cousin who stayed with him sometimes, because I struggled with depression and needed help. He said that's why she might see photos of me around, because family obligations were complicated. According to him, I wasn't his fiancée. I was a burden. I took screenshots of everything and emailed them to myself. Then I sat there on the kitchen floor, staring at the screen, realizing my entire life with Marcus had been a smokescreen. That night, he came home cheerful, kissed me, handed me a little box of maple fudge, and asked how my day was. I smiled, nodded, and told him dinner was in the oven. Meanwhile, every fiber in my body wanted to scream. I didn't. Not yet. Because now it wasn't just about me, it was about Camila, about her unborn baby, about the truth, and I knew Marcus had no idea his entire double life was about to collapse. For the next 2 days, I barely slept. I went through Marcus's laptop again while he was at work, gathering more proof. Photos of us together from holidays, screenshots of our engagement announcement emails to friends, receipts from deposits we'd put down on a wedding venue. All of it contrasted with the messages he'd sent to Camila about their growing family. I kept replaying his words in my head, the way he called her my love and mi vida, while reducing me to nothing more than a sick cousin. It was twisted. He wasn't just cheating. He was inventing entire false lives to explain away the people he hurt. The question was what to do about it. Part of me wanted to scream at him the second he walked through the door. Another part of me wanted to run away, pack up my life, and vanish before he knew I'd figured him out. But the longer I sat with it, the more I realized Camila deserved to know. She was carrying his child. She was about to build a family with him. She deserved the truth more than anyone. Still, I couldn't just call her and blurt everything out. What if she didn't believe me? What if Marcus had already poisoned her against me, made me sound like the exact delusional family member he'd described? I needed evidence she couldn't deny. I drafted an email, kept it short, straightforward. Camila, I know you don't know me, but I have information about Marcus you need to see. This will be painful, but you deserve the truth. Please call me. I attached 3 things: a photo of Marcus and me from our engagement shoot, a copy of our joint lease, and a selfie of me wearing the engagement ring. I hesitated for nearly an hour before sending it. Once I did, I expected silence. Days of waiting. Maybe nothing at all. Instead, my phone rang that afternoon from a Montreal number. It was her. Her voice was shaky, urgent. She asked who I was, if this was some kind of cruel joke. I told her everything: our 5-year relationship, our engagement, living together. She didn't believe me at first, kept demanding details. His scar on his elbow, his favorite late-night snack, his mother's maiden name. I answered every single one, my voice cracking but steady, and then silence, followed by sobbing. It's one thing to find out you've been lied to, it's another to hear another woman realizing the same truth at the same time. It was like we were both reading the same horror story, just different chapters. Between tears, she told me about their marriage. How Marcus had charmed her family. How he'd convinced her the reason he couldn't move her to the US yet was because of work complications. How he'd painted me as unstable family. She told me she'd been so excited to show him the 3D ultrasound of their baby girl next week. Her sobs hardened into anger. She said, "We can't let him talk his way out of this. He'll spin it. He always spins it. We have to hit him with the truth all at once." That's when we hatched the plan. Camila would fly to Dallas with her brother Daniel. I would meet them. And together, we would confront Marcus, where he couldn't weasel out: at his office, in front of his coworkers, and in front of his mother, who worked in HR there. We set it for 3 days later. Those 3 days were torture. Sleeping next to Marcus, making dinner with him, pretending nothing was wrong while knowing everything. Watching him take calls in another room and tell Camila he loved her while telling me he loved me. Every second felt like I was living in a parallel universe where my whole life was fake. The night before the confrontation, Marcus kissed me goodnight and said he couldn't wait to finally set a date for our wedding. I almost laughed in his face. Instead, I rolled over and stared at the wall until morning. I met Camila and Daniel at a coffee shop across from Marcus's office. Camila looked exactly like her photos, glowing with pregnancy but shattered in the eyes. Daniel was protective, hovering by her side, giving me the kind of cautious look only a big brother can. When she saw me, Camila didn't hesitate. She hugged me. It wasn't a friendly hug. It was the hug of someone who recognized another survivor. She whispered, "Thank you," and then we got down to business. We walked into the office lobby together. I asked to see Marcus's mom, Linda, explaining it was a family emergency. When Linda appeared, her smile faltered at the sight of me standing beside a pregnant stranger. I introduced Camila as Marcus's wife. Linda actually laughed, like it was some awkward misunderstanding. Then I handed her the folder of evidence. Her face drained of color as she flipped through the photos. Receipts, marriage certificate, everything. She didn't say a word, just called Marcus down to a conference room. We sat in silence until he arrived. The moment he walked in, he froze. First he saw me, then his mom, then Camila with her belly and Daniel glowering beside her. His face crumpled like wet paper. "What is this?" he whispered. Camila's voice cut like a knife. "You told me she was your cousin." Marcus stammered, tried to launch into some nonsense about complicated situations, cultural differences, lies he had to tell to protect us. I took off my ring and slid it across the table. "So your cousin was engaged to you for 2 years?" Linda finally spoke, her voice hollow. "Why, Marcus?" He broke down crying, mumbling about loving us both, about never meaning to hurt anyone. But the words sounded rehearsed, like he'd used them before. Camilla stood, her hand over her stomach. "You don't get to cry. You built a nursery for our daughter while planning a wedding with her." Security had to come when voices rose, but by then the damage was done. His coworkers had gathered outside the glass walls, watching the implosion. His CEO walked by, his face stormy. Marcus's mask was shattered, and he knew it. Before leaving, I handed Linda a second folder. "Your son committed bigamy. HR should know who they're employing." Then we walked out, leaving Marcus pale, stammering, and completely exposed. The fallout was instant. Marcus blew up my phone with messages ranging from apologies to threats. Camila got the same in Spanish. We compared screenshots over coffee, laughing bitterly at how identical they were. His mom called us the next day. Devastated. Marcus had been suspended from work pending investigation. She apologized over and over, admitting she'd ignored red flags for years. Camila even showed her the ultrasound photo, and Linda broke down, whispering, "I didn't even know I was going to be a grandmother." That night, Marcus's dad called me, tried to buy my silence, slid a check for $50,000 across a cafe table, like it was a business deal. I pushed it back, and told him this wasn't about money. He looked stunned, then cold. "Marcus is my son. I'll protect him however I have to." But Marcus couldn't be protected this time. Camila filed for divorce in Canada. Lawyers on both sides called it what it was: bigamy, a crime in both countries. His company found out he'd falsified travel expenses to cover his double life. He was fired within the week. Meanwhile, Marcus spiraled. He showed up at my friend's apartment at midnight, pounding on the door until security dragged him away. He sent me letters, emails, voicemails, all the same story. He never meant to hurt us. He loved us both. He was trapped. Camila went into early labor 6 weeks later. She gave birth to a healthy baby girl. Marcus wasn't there. He wasn't even allowed into Canada anymore. When I saw the photo she sent me of her holding that tiny baby, she wrote, "Thank you for saving us." I cried harder than I had in months. Marcus's last message to me came weeks later from yet another burner number. Just a single line: "Living in my car. Hope you're both happy now." And the truth is, we are.